Welcome to OPN One, brought to you by Our Paramotor Nation and all of its sponsors. Our Paramotor Nation is a live weekly interactive show each Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, bringing on paramotor pilots from around the world. Check out the show's website to see all of the upcoming shows, the past shows, and all of its sponsors. On this episode, we will hear from Tim Gaskins, a pilot of almost 20 years and a member of the Bad Apples. He will share a few of his most bizarre flying stories and let us know some of the things to expect in the 2021 Bad Apples flying. And now, let's start the show with David Wolf and his guest, Tim Gaskins.
Welcome, everybody, to this new thing we're doing. I've got Tim Gaskins here with me. He's a good friend of mine. I'm not sure if we're going to call this OPN One, just a little chat with some friends each and every week, same time, same place. You know what I'd probably do, Tim, is leave it in the chat. You know, by the time this thing airs, we're going to have a couple of these episodes already taped. And maybe if you have a comment, if you want to put a comment out there, and if you've got a better idea of what to call this thing, if come up with something better than OPN One. And what do you think of that? That's not that great, is it?
You asked the wrong guy.
I know.
I just like the format. I like the idea.
We're just going to talk. We're going to talk about war stories, some fun things out there.
If you kind of like sitting on the campfire, flying and telling stories.
That or pretty much
that's what it's all about.
Or every time you and I are on the phone together, it seems to be like that. And you know, the thing is, for me, I talk to people all the time. I do a lot of driving in my own work, and so I have a lot of time to talk on the phone and talk with people. And I have these conversations all the time, and it just, you know, it's fun stuff to talk about. So I think this is going to be a pretty cool format. If you don't know if you don't know who Tim Gaskins is, Tim is retired Lieutenant Colonel of the United States Marine Corps. He's been flying paramotors for how long?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Yep.
So if you want to know anything about military, Tim is your guy. If you want to know anything about flying paramotors, Tim is your guy. If you want to know anything about technology, how to log into a Zoom meeting or anything about a cell phone, ask Sue, his wife, because Tim has no freaking clue what he's doing.
I can't argue. It's so true. Especially when someone goes, "Don't worry, Tim, I can walk you through this." And I went, "Hey, Sue," and he goes, "No, I don't need Sue. I can walk you through this." And about 5 minutes into it, Sue.
I gave up. I gave up.
Yep.
How did you and I meet? Do you remember?
Actually, it was through band that we were talking about fly-ins, and before I actually got to meet you, well, actually, I met you at the Bad Apple Fly-In.
Yeah,
person to person, yeah. And actually, you kind of didn't think I was there, but you were doing a broadcast, and I was standing in the group of people with you behind you, and I said, "Yeah, I was here, see." And I remember I showed you the picture. I said, "Yeah," he goes, "Oh, that's right." But I first got a hold of you talking with Brandon and you. Yep.
Yeah. So Brandon,
talking with you guys.
You were on one of the earlier episodes of
about fly-ins.
We were talking about fly-ins. Bad Apples was coming up, and so Brandon and I had you on the show when we were first starting this out, which is when this airs, we'll have just concluded our 100th episode, which is unbelievable to me that it's lasted this long.
Well, I got to make you say, people. I really honestly, people need to watch that because I don't know how many people, but I'm going through some treatments right now, and one of the things that gets me through that is because it's so damn boring down there. And after pissing off a lot of people telling the buzzers to go find somebody else. I watch these videos, and I tell you what, not only are they informative, but they're fun. So you got to watch them.
So Tim is a cancer survivor, and he's
he's
just about done with his therapy. Well, what is it? His chemo?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
second time.
About 6-7 hours just sitting there. Yeah. And I'm glad this entertains you.
Yeah. Well, I don't sit there. Just a quick story. I'm sitting down there and I'm watching one of Dave's videos and stuff. And I said, I got to move around. I got to get up. So I'm walking around. And I sit back down and I turn the video on and I look up and there's this big glass window in front of us. And there's like 6 chairs that are 6 feet apart that they poke in, put the medicine and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there and this vulture lands and is staring at me through the window. And I'm looking at the vulture and I said, "I ain't ready. You better get some company if you're even thinking about it." As soon as I said it, another one lands. Now there's 2 of them looking at me. And I went, "Damn." And I got up and I don't just sit there. I walk around and say hi to people and all this stuff. And I said, "Look, you're looking for Democrats. There's some over there."
Oh,
As soon as I said this, I just said it, just blew up. As soon as I said that, these two vultures waddled down about 3 chairs and sat right in front of this lady. And she gets up and she goes, "How could you do that? You sit them down here to me." I said, "I didn't know you were a Democrat." and and the ward lady, the lady who runs the ward, goes, "Mr. Gaskins." I said, "No, you don't call me that." She goes, "Tim, am I going to have to put you in your seat again?" She goes, "You can't do that." I said, "Do what?" She goes, "You can't tell vultures to go find people." I said, "I did not know she was a Democrat." Okay. And so we had a good time down there, but I got people laughing and all that. So,
comments of the guest do not reflect necessarily the
yeah,
show or opinions.
I just said it just to do it because I'm in a stronghold down there. So I just said it.
All right. I don't.
I love my Democrat friends. I really do. You know,
Okay.
we don't agree with them, but it's funny. It's fun with them.
So what's funny is so I went to Bad Apples 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had just started the show. Nobody knew who I was, and most people still don't know who I was, but everybody knew PPG Gorilla. And Rick and I had just become friends.
Mhm.
It was the first time we got to meet face to face. So it was awesome. We got to hang out the entire time. And it was funny because people were coming up, asking to take pictures with him. And I was just giggling and laughing at him. And I remember you made the, you stood up and did the, what do you call it? The briefing.
Briefing?
Yes, the briefing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I knew who you were. And then later on, we were on Robert Michaels' show because Ritman Ryden, who turned out to be one of my co-hosts a year later, very good friend, one of my best friends. He was the guest that night because he had just locked out during some paragliding training. And so he was the guest on Robert's show. And we were all pretty drunk that night.
What do you mean just that night?
Well, that was the worst of it. Do you remember what I guess stupid thing I did at Bad Apples that kind of?
Oh God, yeah, I got pictures of it, dude.
No.
Yeah, it deals. I think it deals hunting with coconuts.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
I made some bad decisions that weekend and things that are not making my
blame the alcohol.
Well, blaming the COVID now. Now everything. It's funny because Jenny, my wife, if I said, "Hey, honey, did you remember to clean the litter boxes?" "No, honey, it's the COVID. I forgot." You don't have COVID. I know, but everything's blaming on COVID. Everybody's blaming everything on COVID. So why not blame it? So yeah, just take the garbage out. Oh, I forgot the COVID.
I didn't affect that part, but yeah, I tell you, it was fun. When I first met you, I thought it was. Well, first of all, I thought you were really interesting because when I first walked up to see you, I said, okay, I know who Rick is because of Gorilla. And I said, well, Dave's going to meet up with him. And when I walked up is when actually Rick drove up and you guys hugged each other. "Hey, it's so glad to meet you." And that's how I knew who you was. I was like, that must be Dave right there.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
amazing to remember. Like I remember the first interaction. I remember our first handshake. And then you never know that this person's going to become a very, very close friend of yours, which is great.
Yeah.
Years later, you helped me launch Tandem. You were my first tandem outside of my training this past fall.
I still, like someone said, aren't you scared? I said, no, I'm more afraid of not living than I am scared. I said, and plus Dave's got this. And then I looked at Travis. I said, he is qualified, right? Travis goes, yes. So, no, it's a great flight.
Right before that, the day before, no, that morning was the morning that I landed in the river and I pulled the fish out, right? So I remember I haven't
told you something. I haven't told you something about that. You do know I was flying. I saw you actually go in.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything to you. Well,
okay.
I didn't want you because I was out there flying and stuff, and I saw you guys. Matter of fact, Nick had landed, and I was just taking off, and and so I went out that way. And I said, you know what? They talked about going to the trusses. And I said, let me go out to the truss.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was on my way back, I'm looking down there and I went, my thought, I said, someone's going to bite the dust on this one. But I didn't know the wing you were flying.
Oh, you didn't know that was mine.
I didn't know that was your wing. So when I saw it, I started giggling up there. I said, oh man, been there, done that. And started laughing and stuff. And then I just kind of soaked it on the outside because I saw two guys. I still don't remember who it was. And I said to myself, okay, good. He's fine. He's good. He's safe. Okay. Everything's good. And then I just kept on flying stuff. And then I landed, then I took back off again. And then I was flying around. And then when I came in for that landing, someone said, hey, did you see what happened to Dave? And I said, no, what? And I was scared. And then when I saw you there sitting with a towel and no clothes on. You know, oh God, I'm saving this. I know what this is going to happen. I'm saving this one.
Yeah. So that was Chris Holbert and Matt Green that were flying
Yeah.
ahead of me, and something else. Can you believe it? Getting out of the water and getting that thing
Yeah.
above my head, that was unbelievable to me. But the thing I would bring this up because so that evening is when we flew together.
Yeah.
And when I got back and Travis saw me and I told him the story and I'm holding my muddy filled glider, he says, I think I need to call the Aero Sports Connection. This may not be a good idea giving you the TANF exemption. Maybe we're not going to put that paperwork through just yet. So
I tell you, that's a great guy right there.
oh, Travis is salt of the earth. He's awesome.
You know, first time I met him, did you know the story on that?
No, tell us.
We were down at well, first of all, Rob Caddo, Mike Britt, Marty Hathaway, got this whole bunch of us, but we were going to do a lighthouse tour. We've done a couple of these where we visit all the lighthouses. Like we did the whole coast of Florida, and one guy said, "I don't think you're going to be able to do it." And we had met some of the park rangers, and we talked to them and told them what we're doing. They were great. So we're going to fly all the lighthouses of Florida, but we were heading out to this one. This is basically a flying down there. We were going to end up in Pine Island, and so I was flying, and I was flying at the time. I was flying my Polini. And Rob and we were up about 3,000 feet, and I had an engine out, and I couldn't get it restarted. Now remember, down in Pine Island, it's all by the mangroves. So if you go down, here's the thing: if you go down, you're the only one coming out because we're not coming in after your motor and your wing. You've lost them. And I said, well, I'm determined to make it back to the field because I was pretty far away from the field, and I kept heading back. And luckily, I kept hitting some lift. And by the time I got back there, a guy was getting ready to take off, and I'm yelling, landing, and I landed, and I look up. Here's Travis, kind of looking at me. I'm kind of like landing in front of him. Here's Travis, and we introduced ourselves. But then he started talking about movies and stuff. He goes, "Are you the guy that makes all the movies?" And I said, "Yeah, a long time ago." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, we need to talk." And then I fell in love with the guy right then. And then when he told me he was from the Coast Guard, I said, "Oh, this is even better." Now I can rib him too about being in the Coast Guard, which I still hold in high regards. But that's the first time I met him was down at Pine Island, and been in love with the guy ever since. Manly way. So.
Oh, I love Travis. And anyway,
he's a great guy.
Anyway, I love Travis. Don't worry about it. We went to the Swanee flying.
Mm-hmm.
I took my son Brennan.
Oh yeah.
And
I gotta correct you on something. The last video you said Tim wanted to do this. If I'm not mistaken, someone said, "Tim, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this." I kept saying, "No, I don't want to do it." Oh, I said, I don't want to do it. And you said, "Please." I said, "Okay, I'll do it."
We'll have to roll the tape back. I'll have to watch one of the old videos. We'll see it here.
But you playing it is on me. I'm already walking into the trailer. It was before that when you asked me to do it. And I said, "I don't want to do that." You said, "I said okay." But you go ahead and tell that story, and I got one afterwards.
All right. So Tim,
go ahead.
Tim pushed me aside, threw me down to the ground, and wanted to wake up my son Brennan, and woke him up Marine style, and freaked Brennan out pretty good. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, this past January, Brennan and I went down to Wauchula to meet up with Travis Burns and Mike Hodder and Justin Fox. Allie, who's now with One Up Adventures. Kyle his wife was about to have a baby, so he wasn't able to join us. And so Brennan and I said, let's get Tim back. And so we snuck around. I still don't understand why you left the back of the trailer unlocked.
Because I wasn't back there.
Because you weren't back there.
It didn't bother me.
So what everybody saw in that video of mine is that we opened up and there's Marty Hathaway, and I don't know if he was in his underwear or naked, but he was
in his underwear.
Okay, I was gonna say it was too close to call.
Yeah. Well, you scared the hell out of me through the blanket. What the hell's going on here?
So Marty turns around and goes, "Oh, I don't know where Tim is," and that's the end of it that we knew. But that wasn't the full story. Tim, you want to take it from there?
Okay, yeah. Well, first of all, I heard this noise going on in the back. In my trailer, guys will always say, "Hey, can I? You got air conditioning and all this? Can you?" Do it. I converted the trailer port. I said, "Sure." And they always sleep on the floor. In the front of the trailer, I built myself a rack. Being as tall as I am, I can lay crosswise, no big deal. And it's like a little cubby hole, like on a Navy ship. And so I'm up there, and I heard some rustling in the back, like moving of levers and locks. I went, "What's going on?" And I'm not saying anything. and I see Marty kind of set up, and he's kind of like, what's going on here? And all of a sudden the back door just slams down, and he get this, hey, and Marty like that. I see Dave and Billy going, Marty, and he goes, what? He goes, oh, we're sorry. And he goes, well, where's Tim? And he goes, well, I think he got up an hour ago or something to use the bathroom. He's walking around outside somewhere. Well, I did, but I came back and got back into the sack, into the back. And so I'm up there, it's kind of dark, you can't see. I'm kind of giggling my ass off.
Yeah.
So the door shuts and Marty's sitting there, and I said, thanks. And I scared the hell out of Marty. He thought I was fine. I went, hey, he what? And I said, he goes, you've been in here the whole time? I said, yeah, I was laughing my ass off back there.
So he got scared from the front and the back. That's
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so he goes, I thought you. I said, no. I said, he goes, who was it? I said, that was Dave and Brendan. I said, I think there's going to be payback or something. And then, but what's funny right after that is, after that happened, Marty got up, got dressed, and went out there. And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I hear the side door opening up. And I said, okay, now they're going to try the side door. And here's Leah comes in and jumps on top of me and starts hugging me. And my first thought was, Brennan, I'm going to kick your butt. I said, oh, that's not Brennan. I said, hey, Leah. So she came behind me, and I said, well, damn, I didn't know it was you. I didn't even have my eyes open. I just realized, oh, man. So, but just to watch Marty's expression when you guys let that door down, it scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Can I say that one thing? Sorry.
You can say whatever the you want, because I'm gonna censor it.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, good.
No holds barred. This isn't live, so we can do whatever we want. I can.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm trying to do so you don't have to censor much of it stuff.
Oh, that's okay.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What is what's one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to you at a fly-in?
I think the fish pretty much takes the cake on that one.
Okay. You got a lot more adventures to go through, buddy.
Oh, I'm sure.
I hope so.
And I think the problem with me is I become a big target, and I'm trying to get that target off my back. See that first fly-in with the stupid.
Too late.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we tell everybody. Everybody goes, what do you do to be a bad apple? I said, well, the first thing, you better have a lot of thick skin. Because I remember the first couple of years with them, just flying with them before, I even knew anything that they were a group and stuff. And I mean, the skin goes from here to about that thick, because we used to razz each other. One of the things that Brewster was bad apple number one. You can't replace Brewster. But I was filming, and somehow I became the group's, filmography or whatever you want to call it. And the guy, a good buddy of mine, good friend of mine, Dave came, another good Dave, Ingersoll came in for landing, and he totaled. Well, I put my camera down, went over and grabbed his wing, was like that. And Brewster's sitting, he goes, what are you doing? And I said, I'm helping Dave. He totally goes, no. I said, what? He goes, no. He goes, you never stop filming. He goes, you cannot replace good crash videos with this. He goes, as long as he's okay, you never stop filming.
See,
even
back then, he knew something would go viral if you just get a good crash.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's why I did the blooper videos. I started doing blooper videos and stuff, and putting the music and all. But so after that happened, Worth Daniel, another good dear friend of mine, bad apple number 5. We decided to go on one of these big trips, and we ended up at a skydiving school down. Actually, it was by Lake Okeechobee, and they were dropping stuff. Well, it was kind of windy, and Lynn Mulberry and I was sitting, and I'm looking. I said, it's a little too windy for me. Well, Dale Miller and Worth McDaniel decided they're going to fly, and so they get their stuff out, and I don't know how they got up, because Dale did a chicken run, and Worth got up, and they were flying around. And when they were coming in for a landing, I'm looking at Dale, and the wind's really blowing. And I looked at Lynn, and I said, he better not cut his motor off. He better not cut it off. Sure enough, he cuts it off about 30 feet in the air. And I grabbed the camera, and I'm just hauling butt, running toward him. And I know what's going to happen. He's going to total. And sure enough, he landed, and it just yanked him back. And his feet, his legs up like that, and it's dragging him. And I'm running beside him, and I'm going, hold on, Dale. And he goes, grab me. And I said, I can't, I'm filming. So I go like this. He finally stops, and he gets up, and I said, he puts him up, and he goes, Bruce, right? I said, yeah, Bruce told me never to stop filming. He goes, okay. Well, then right after that, here comes Worth coming in, and he kind of lands a little bit downwind, and he lands in front of me and gets yanked forward. He's being dragged, and the wing kind of goes past me. He goes, grab the wing, grab the wing. And I go, I can't. I said, I'm filming. And so he finally gets up and he goes like that. And he goes, well, you don't have to always listen to Brewster. I said, he's bad apple number one. I got to listen to him.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, the wind pops up and inflates his wing again. And he gets yanked again where he breaks his comfort ball. So he looked at me and he goes, I blame you for this. And I said, why are you blaming me? He goes, you didn't grab my wing. I said, hey, you're the one that flew, pilot in command. It's not me. I'm filming this. So that's a couple of stories, but
So,
you know, that's where the filming stuff came in.
Bad Apple started in 2001, right?
2001. We're going to say 2001 to play safe.
Okay. And then when did you join Bad Apples? When did you get initiated into Bad Apples? Or if you can't
We
say
call it, we call it inducted.
inducted.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm going to say, like, well, I started flying with Brewster. I got to tell that story too, but I met Brewster because he lived in my neighborhood. And as I was driving out one day at the stop, near the stop sign, he lived in the second house into the neighborhood. I saw the paramotor, which I didn't know what it was at the time. Now, you got to say I did a lot of other aviation before that. And, you know, the last thing I got into was basically hang gliding. Did a lot of hang gliding and stuff. Even took second at Kill Devil Hills one year on a competition. But my teammate beat me by this much on a spot landing. His name was Forrest, really nice guy. But I'm looking at it, I see this thing. My first thought was, damn, that is one hell of a weed blower. And so I got out of the truck and I went over. I said, what is this? He goes, it's a paramotor. I said, what is that? He told me about it. And I said, man, I got to try this. Well, a week later, I'm heading back out. And I did the same thing Rick Davies did. You know, I own an AC business. But I was heading out and I was sitting at the stop sign looking. Then we had to use maps, actual maps, to find out where we were going. And I hear this voice yelling, Tim. And I'm looking, I'm going, what? Who is this? And he goes, up here. And so I stick my head out with the van and look up, and here's Bruce kind of floating above me.
Oh, wow.
We had a field right across the street.
Okay.
And he landed. I went right in and I said, this is it? He goes, yeah. And I said, I got to go. And he goes, okay, here's where I went to school. So I went up to North Carolina with Chris Bulls and Southern Skies and got trained by him and stuff. And the rest is history. That's how I got into it.
Awesome.
But just looking at that, you know, the how you get into stuff and stuff. But so that would have been when I started flying. That was 2003. And then it was probably 2005, 2006, I think. I screwed up another story. How I got into the Bad Apples.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. I'll be honest with everybody, so everybody knows because they keep asking me.
Please stay tuned as OPN One-on-One will be back in a moment. When we return, Tim will be telling us what we should expect from this year's Bad Apples fly-in.
How I got into the Bad Apples.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. I'll be honest with everybody, so everybody knows because they keep asking me. My call sign is branch manager. And everybody thinks, a lot of people think it's because I come from Flowery Branch, Georgia. That's where I live. It has nothing to do with it. We're up at the end of my street. There's a field up there. We call it the BIP for Bruce International Power Park because he's the one that found the field. And it's a small field. I mean, really small with a lot of high trees. And it was my first time away from training. And Bruce was sitting there and I'm looking, I had a Power Atlas with my first breeze. And he goes, you can do this. Well, I blew 3 launches. Now you got to understand how this is a very, very small field. And so I'm setting up and Bruce goes, well, I'm going to go flying. So he takes off. And now this is Bruce's view of me on the ground. So Wilt McDaniel sets me off. He goes, you can do it again. So on the 4th attempt, I get the wing up and it takes off. And I'm up and I'm looking, and you know, it's the first time you kind of starstruck because my wife was there, my sister-in-law was there, and some other people. And I'm kind of just, you know, oh, hey, I'm up. And while I went to go get in my seat, you know, kicked a stirrup and I missed it. And that voice of my instructor, Chris, his German accent, get in your seat, Tim, get in your seat, came through my mind. So I missed it again. I looked down to look at my seat and I'm trying to get into it, not paying attention to where I'm headed. Now, Bruce was, the way he described it was, okay, Tim, you got this. You got the wing up, Tim. Because he's looking at me from the air. He goes, you got it, Tim. You up, Tim, go, way to go, buddy. Okay, turn to the right. Tim, you need to turn. Tim. Okay, I'm landing. Well, once I got into the stirrup and stuff, I kicked the seat out. I looked up and there was a tree right there. And I killed him over and grabbed the tree.
Yeah.
and I was up way high, and the wing went up on top of the canopy, and it was up there, and I'm sitting up there, and I could hear. I went, oh, I went, now what would happen? And that's when I heard the cracking of the limbs, and as I fell through the thing, they said they could hear me going down, ouch, ouch, and I got down there, and I was probably about 8 feet above the ground, and everything strapped up, but I couldn't get out of the unit, and so Brewster and a couple of guys came in. 2 guys got on their hands and knees, and Brewster stood on their backs, and I stood on Brewster's shoulders to get out of my unit. Well, we got the motor out, but they said, forget your wing. And so I went back the next day with a 40-foot ladder and one of those poles that had a chainsaw on the end of it, cut the trees away, and got my wing out. Okay, literally got it out of the trees. It was so tangled, it was unbelievable.
Do you know how similar our 2 stories are?
This gets better.
For my 7th flight, when I flew into a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have anybody around me, but I mean, I had 2 failed attempts, and I never backed myself up, and I took off, and I didn't get enough clearance.
Yeah.
I went into the tree and bounced. Now I was flying the trike, and it was a fresh breeze.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't a Power Atlas though. It was what was the heck? Easy 2. It was
wait.
Air Design.
I know you got trained by the first thing, which I don't like to say his name, but it wasn't a Power Atlas.
No, it was an Air Design.
Okay, wow.
Air Design, and then now I dropped out of the tree, but we came back with chainsaws too.
Okay, well, it's funny. I'm sitting there cutting this, and this guy went up back the next day with me to help me cut the wing out of the air, or out of the tree. Yeah. And then we finally got it, and I finally got it. It took me 4 hours to untangle it, and so I finally get it untangled. And the next day, I'm doing this.
Poison ivy.
Oh, it was better than that. It was poison ivy, sumac, and oak.
Oh, geez.
And I went to the doctor, and literally went into the doctor's office at a Jack in the Box. My eyes were so swollen, just like slits. And Stu sitting there, and the lady said, she was, "Can I help you?" She went, "Ugh!" And Lily, she froze. And she was, "Oh my God." Yeah. And I said, I think I'm allergic to poison ivy and stuff. Well, they gave me like 2 shots and all these pills, and salve and all that. Well, the guy that helped me to go back the next day, he called Stu. She goes, "Is Tim having any problems with itching?" And she goes, "It's funny you should say that." After all that ended up and stuff, I needed to find a place to send my wing. Now, you remember, this is back almost, 18, 19 years ago. And I didn't know anything about Elizabeth or Denise or anybody like that. And so I'm going, where do I send this? Well, a guy gave me I think it was Bill Henner, gave me his number. And so I called him up, and I said, and I think it was Bill Henner. And I said, "Can I send my wing to you?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, here's what happened. I went to trees, and I don't want to make sure I didn't stretch anything and stuff like this." He goes, "No problem." Well, he gets the wing, and he calls me up. He goes, "Tim, I think you sent me the wrong wing." And I said, "No, that's the only one I got." He goes, "There's nothing wrong with this wing." What? He goes, "It's not stretched, no holes, nothing." And I said, "I guess that's a Power Atlas. It is tough." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "But I do have a problem." He goes, "After handling your wing," he goes, "Man, I'm itching." And I said, "Oh no." I said, "Well, it did go into the trees."
Oh so, my gosh.
So we got that back, and I washed it off and all that stuff. But I still, believe it or not, I still have the second wing I've ever started on. That was another Power Atlas, because I got another one because I didn't want to wait for that one to come back. That's the only wing I knew about. And I still have it, and I still use it, but I use that at the beach because it's so tough. I mean, I'm not doing any acrobatics or that stuff anymore. I'm just up and down, being a plug on a thing, and it's fine. But it's so tough in the sand and stuff. And I just had it inspected, and from Elizabeth a year or so ago, and she said this wing is in great shape still.
Yeah.
So
how many wings do you have still?
7 or 8, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, I only bring a couple with me, and but some of them I don't even know if they're even flyable anymore. But I just
like my Air Design, I'll keep it around if I ever fly tandem, fly the trike by myself. That's fine. I've got my Triox, of course, that's going to last me forever. And my Spider, which, will last me till, it depends on how many times I go into the water.
Don't do that again.
But it'll last me for a while. And then that'll be the one I get rid of, or the one that I hang from my garage ceiling and buy another one, I guess. So when this comes out, Bad Apples is going to be just a couple weeks away. What should everybody know about going into Bad Apples?
I was going to ask you, okay, first of all, I'm getting a lot of calls saying, "Is this still going on?" Yes, Bad Apples is definitely going to happen. The 13th of May through the 16th of May. That's the official start time and stuff. little changes this year. I had a good conversation with Mac Hodges, and what he would like us to do this year, instead of him going around trying to collect the camping fees, whether you use electricity or dry camp, he asked us if we would do it. So we're going to reorganize so it makes it easy for everybody to, as soon as they show up, we're going to say, okay, are you camping, or you dry camping, or you get electricity and water and stuff, and here's what you pay. We're going to have a separate thing for Max, so he doesn't have to go around collecting and stuff.
Yeah.
Now we also we changed. We're not doing online registration. We had some problems with the credit card companies, and especially after COVID hit, and we had to return a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We turned the money from the guys that pre-registered, and basically they soaked us. So we lost quite a bit of money because of it, from the credit card companies and stuff. So I got a hold of Brandon from the Air Hogs, a couple of people, and on how they did it. And they said, we're just doing it at the gate. So we're going to collect at the gate. Now we do have some other options. Maybe PayPal, we're going to look into that.
Yeah.
And some of the Zoom, not Zoom, Xena or something like that through the banks, that CC and then we're looking into. But that's mostly what we're going to do. But what I want people to realize what this flying's about, and I was really hoping, we had the last one. We're doing all the effort we can is to put as much money into PPG Resurgence from the flying. So all the proceeds after we pay, for the field, we pay the porta potties, the insurance, the all the forms we have to have, all that stuff. After we pay all that, it goes to PPG Resurgence.
Resurgence PPG, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, PPG.
Right.
Because after talking to the guys, especially up there, we just met at Wachula and got to talk with some of those guys.
There it is.
Hey, that's right, buddy. That's right. That's right. Hey, Todd would know. even though he was in, I don't want to say, hey, brothers in arms can do this to each other. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I love the man to death. Okay. I think he's one of my heroes. So, and it's like a family brother. They can fight amongst each other all they want, but if an outsider tries to come in and butt in, we're going to turn on like a pack of dogs.
All right.
Okay? So
this was a concern. I know I was talking, I think it was to Rick Davies, and this is going to be huge. 2 years ago is, I don't remember how many numbers. I think he had just under 200, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. This could be over 300 people coming this year.
Yeah.
Could be.
Talk to Mac about that, and we can handle it.
Is there a limit? Obviously, when you can't fit anybody else in, there's got to be a limit at some point, and especially if you're concerned about too many people taking off and landing.
Well, we got some things. Donnie Lama, I work Sun and Fun at the flight ops. I'm at the unit field there at Paradise City launching recovered aircraft, and Donnie is the air boss actually at Sun and Fun. He's going to come in and help organize and control takeoff and landings and stuff. And we're going to keep it real simple, not too many rules, but make everybody just be safe and stuff. So we think we're going to have a good handle on that. My really good buddy Craig Botham is going to be there. He is an EMT. And I won't say EMT. He is coming, and he's going to stay with us 24/7 for the whole fly-in.
Wow.
And he's got his own vehicle and all that stuff. And he goes, "Yeah, I'll be glad to help." So we got a couple of things going on. We all now. I can tell you, Dan. You said I know you've seen kind of the design of the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. We also going to have the T-shirts, but again, we're not going to take any money before, and it's just going to be at the gate and stuff. So, but like I said, whatever we get, anything we want, I just want people to know that it is going to PPG Resurgence. Now the other thing we're doing too is we're going to do a silent auction. A lot of guys have donated stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A good buddy of mine, Mark, it made some prop balancers, and these things are awesome. And he donated them to help raise money for
Resurgence. PPG.
Yeah, Resurgence PPG. Resurgence PPG. I'm just saying Resurgence. Okay.
You and I could start our own 501c called PPG Resurgence and fool everybody.
And as I'm watching Todd starting to nail you, I'll probably give him the hammer. Okay. so
we have a saying. We have a saying. It's shut up, Todd. Hey, Tim, why don't we pause right here for a second and we will come back next week. I know you have a ton more stories about the bad apples. Why don't we come back next week at the same time? Sound good?
Sound good.
All right. We'll see you guys then. We'll see you Sunday night on Our Paramotor Nation.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Take care, bud. Fly safe.
Thank you for watching OPN One-on-One. Please leave a comment below, and if you enjoyed today's episode, hit the like button. Next week, Tim will be back with David to share some more of his crazy experiences while flying and reveal to us how several of the bad apples earned their call signs. We will see you this Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time for Our Paramotor Nation, and next week for another episode of OPN One-on-One.